people ask, like, even from a framework of like, okay, how do I know this is a placement in my life? And when I wrote my book, it's actually in there, but this was my main three things that helped me identify my purpose, quote unquote, for my life. And so let's talk about this. I feel like this is purpose influenced by God. So number one, it's usually tied to your past. And the reason I say that is because I wouldn't be able to be effective in helping people if it wasn't for the things that I've been through. And one of the quotes that I love to use, you probably heard me say this a million times, is, I would rather somebody, give me the map that's hiked the trail. And what happens is a lot of times we have people who have never hiked the trail that gives us the map. It's like, I'm a trailhead. You guys know that I love nature. So it's like if I never hiked this trail before and I said, hey, I've never been on this trail before, but I think this is how you get here. You would probably look at that, throw it away, or be like, okay, sir, and burn it. But if I was like, hey, I come out here, every weekend for the last 10 years, I know all the spots, and I'm super confident when I tell you this. Here's the map. You would be like, okay, cool, this guy knows what he's talking about, and you would use that map. And so I relate that to our lives. Like, the things that you have been through qualifies you to help other people get through it, because you have your experience. Like, there's things literally like you have in your life that you could help somebody that I couldn't help somebody with. There's things I just haven't experienced. Like, I haven't experienced a lot of things in my life, but there's certain things that you've been through that you might have thought was no purpose. You might have thought sucked. You might have thought was unfair. And that could be true. But the thing that I love that's really helped me heal from my past, as a side note, is realizing that there was a purpose in the pain. There was a purpose in the reason why I went through certain things. I experienced certain things. And the more you give your gift to the world, you realize, like, oh, okay, like I went through it for no reason. I went through it to help other people. So your past pain becomes other people's future strength. So the things that you've been through qualifies you. So it's tied to your purpose is one tied to your past, because nobody wants an inexperienced person. Like, nobody wants a person that hasn't been through anything. People say experience is the best teacher. I disagree. I think someone else's experience is the best teacher. Like, I don't want to have to go through something. Like, I don't want to have to drive down the street and I sit here and realize that there's traffic. I know it's like the dumbest example, but I don't want to see there's traffic or there's a pothole in that street. I don't want to have to experience that. I'd rather you get a flat tire beforehand and be like, hey, bro, like, I got a flat tire last week going down this road, so you might not want to go down this road. Or there's tons of traffic down this road. I've been going down this road for the last week. I would rather use someone else's experience, okay? So number one, it's tied to your past. Number two, it's tied to power. And I mentioned this earlier in this training about how I knew rehab time was it for me. It was my placement because it just made me feel alive. Like, I don't know no better way to put this, but things that make you feel alive. Like, when you're doing something. My friend hit me up the other day, and he does music. And he was like, man, Trent, like, man, I just know this is it for me, whether I don't get, the recognition, the prize, the profit from it. I know this is it for me because literally I get lost in it. Like, literally it makes me feel so alive. Literally, like, I'm in here, I didn't even eat today. I was like, bro, you might want to eat. Like, I don't want you to sit here and starve yourself to death because you're in your placement, you're in your purpose. But I get what he was saying, because I feel that too. Like, when you're doing something you truly love, when you're doing something that you truly care about and it's just meant for you, like, a lot of other things, like, don't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what's going on, tomorrow. It doesn't matter what's going on outside of the things that you're doing. It just makes you feel great in doing it. Like, even doing this right now, it brings a power to my life. It excites me. It lights me up. So even if I was having a bad day earlier, which I wasn't, today was actually a great day, but making a video or working on content or, making a video for social media or Instagram, creating content for people to help people, those things, like, make me feel alive, and I feel power in doing that. So if you have especially power in things that even was your fear, I wouldn't ignore that. If you have power in things that you might have been insecure about, like I was with speaking, I wouldn't ignore that, because oftentimes that might be your calling, right? The things you're not confident in, but you still feel confident in doing it. I know it sounds crazy, but oftentimes you're working in your power because you're working in your purpose. The third thing that I believe purpose is tied to is problems. People say, okay, it's tied to my past. I get that. I feel powerful. But also it's like, what are you passionate about solving? You know, first of all, that separates you. When you can provide solutions for people in this world, that separates you. People will go to you for something. The reason why you go to, you know, certain food places because they solve your problem of being hungry. The reason why you know, go to a certain, you know, whether it be a mechanic, they solve your problem with your car issues. So what are the things that you're passionate about solving? Maybe, you know, and oftentimes this is tied to your past. Maybe you experienced something as a child, right? Maybe you experienced going hungry. And so I've seen this with a lot of people, like their mission is to end, you know, world hunger. They want to solve that problem because they're passionate about it, because they know how it feels to actually experience that. Maybe you're passionate about, you know, cancer research, or you're passionate about, I mean, it could be literally anything. It could be you're passionate about, you know, helping, you know, athletes with brain injuries and with concussions. Maybe you're passionate about that because you've experienced that. You've been an athlete. You know how it feels when you lose that sport, when you lose that job, and you want to help people get through that. The thing I was passionate about in problem solving was people knowing their worth. Because I know how I felt to feel like you lost your worth because you lost something. I know how I felt when I lost one of my closest friends because he felt like he hadn't had no worth, or he lost his worth, or he didn't have anything to really grab onto. He felt his life was over. And so I became passionate about solving that problem. And I provided solutions for people, which you guys know, to help people learn their worth and know their worth, to help people become empowered, to let people know that they can overcome their past, to let people know that, you know, just because you went through certain things doesn't mean you have to become those things that you went through. And I became super passionate about solving that problem. And now people come to me, right? The reason you're here is probably because I've helped solve a problem for you. Let's be honest. That's why you're probably here, because you watched the video that made you feel a certain type of way, that gave you information, that gave you insight, that might have gave you the exact tools to be able to change your life and help your life. And so now you're here. So think about that. What problems are you passionate about solving? And please don't make the mistake of going back to the other 3 Ps when you're thinking about this. Because sometimes we feel like, oh, well, I'm passionate about this, but that's not really a big deal. You know, I'm passionate about the soil, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm passionate about the water, you know, or I'm passionate about, you know, the simplest things. You might not think, oh, that's not really something to be passionate about, or it's not something to, like, that's really gonna, you know, give me a good position, or give me a good profit, or give me a good prize. So I probably shouldn't do it because it's whack. Most people don't even do that. And I think, honestly, being passionate about the things and solving the problems that aren't popular, I believe that that will separate you. And if you look at, I mean, everything in this world, technology, there was somebody who was passionate about something with cell phones, and probably at a point where nobody thought it was important. Steve Jobs, you know, I mean, you go down the list, you know, with electricity at some point with someone, you know, oh, okay, cool. Like, I'm going to be passionate about this. I'm going to be passionate about weather, climate, global warming. I'm going to be passionate about this stuff. The things that somebody felt it mattered to them, maybe not matter to anybody else, but it became something that ended up mattering to other people. So please don't sit there and think that what you're passionate about doesn't have purpose. It doesn't have power, because it does. So when you have these 3 Ps working together, there's a great chance, right? The 3 Ps of your past, your power, your problems, there's a great chance that you're going to be being, right, the greatest you. You're going to feel alive because you're working in alignment. Okay, so power, past, problems. Past, power, problems. That's when your purpose is being influenced by God. And that's when you know that, hey, I'm probably in the right placement because those things align.